Go. We ready, guys?
Yeah.
Ready.
Here we go. So
Where do we look? Are we looking at you?
We're starting. We're starting. We're in after all that.
There wasn't even a 3, 2, 1.
There will be, but we're in. Let's go for this, okay, guys? So welcome to the BTS Creative Academy podcast. We're here at the Harlow Playhouse. We're here celebrating the fact that you're just about to start Dick Whittington.
Yeah.
How are you guys feeling? You look excited.
Very excited.
I'm looking at all your smiley faces and you look like you're ready to go. How do you feel?
It's been so much fun. We're already like a family. It's crazy actually because we had a panto launch previously and we had such a hoot then, and I think we all kind of had a moment of this is going to be fun. And inevitably it's lived up to all of that. We're literally having a wonderful time. Well, I can speak for myself.
Yeah, we are.
Well, let's get into it then. So let's do the proper start. So there's a proper tradition to this podcast. We do a little 3, 2, 1 and clap together and then we go.
All
So
right.
that's the proper start. Are you ready?
Yeah.
So it's like
One singular clap.
one singular
Right.
clap together.
We're used to theatre people, so you know.
So 3, 2, 1. There we go. That was nice. Sing. Look at you. So who have I got on the podcast then? Should we go around and would you like to introduce yourselves?
I'm Grace. I'll be playing Alice.
I'm James and I'll be playing Dick.
I'm Nathaniel and I'll be playing Sir Rattington.
I'm Dilara and I'll be playing Tommy the cat.
And I'm Rachel, and I'm playing the infamous role in Dick Whittington, Queen Kiessa of the Cat Kingdom, which is essentially the Good Fairy.
Yeah.
And like I say, I'm Martin Colton. I'm the host of this podcast.
Right.
So where are we at with the show at the moment? Where are we with Dick Whittington?
Well, we have pretty much staged the whole show now, which is quite exciting. In the rehearsal room, we've had our Sits Probe this morning, which is when you sing with the band for the first time, which is really nice to see how it all fits together. So next stop is moving into the theatre and starting tech rehearsals.
Wow. So exciting times. And so
Very exciting.
how long has this rehearsal period been going on with Dick Whittington? Is this a short rehearsal
Not
for
long.
a pantomime, or is it quite?
Not
I mean, it's
long.
quite typical for a pantomime.
It is
Yeah.
typical,
But
yes.
comparatively to other shows, it could be considered short. But we've been going for just under 2 weeks.
Yeah. Which for a pantomime rehearsal is actually quite nice because
Yeah.
sometimes they tech it in a week and put it on its feet. So we've been lucky to
I
have.
think is madness.
how long would you like?
A month, thank you. Literally, what we're doing, in my opinion, again, what we're doing is we're cramming in a month's worth of rehearsal into 2 weeks. But I tell you this, and I kid you not, they do it so wonderfully well.
Yeah.
Yeah.
They do it so well because
very
we
organised.
all are so. And I'm not just saying this, I'm being honest, we're all so looked after. And we've had the opportunity to have a good, healthy rehearsal process.
Yes. They
So
supply us with
it's
lots of
incredible,
cake.
it's magic.
So
So
we're
grinding.
already piling on the Christmas pounds, but
Yes.
let's start as we mean to go on.
Yeah.
So what would it look like then if you had extra time? What would you be doing with that extra time? Because it sounds like you said they're fitting it all in perfectly.
Yeah.
But you could do a month. Is it that you want a month?
I just want a month because I'm living my best life.
Yeah.
And I genuinely feel like the energy on stage might be less intense.
Yeah.
Okay.
Which obviously is what people pay for. They pay for the intense energy and the knowledge of knowing that like this has been put together in 2 weeks is also quite exciting for an audience member.
Yes.
So you're gonna have that. I don't know what's coming next. I can't even remember. I'm not
Is
sure.
there something in the nerves? Does it give the
Yeah.
performance
Magic
something
in the
different?
nerves, I think.
Yeah.
But then I also think that it's kind of split because then you also just want to put it in front of an audience as well. And get
There's only
them to
so
see
far
it.
you
true.
can go in a rehearsal room.
We need the
You
audience reaction.
The audience
Yeah.
You
participation.
do, yeah.
And I guess the good thing with pantomime is there is the freedom and knowledge that if something were to go wrong, that's kind of in the pantomime spirit anyway. And the audience will lap that up and laugh with us rather than at us. So well, we hope. So that is quite a nice thing to go on stage and know that, you know, obviously we take our jobs very seriously, but it's a pantomime and everyone, audience and actors alike, and everyone backstage are here to have a good time, and hopefully we'll bring that across.
So for you guys, how much of that do you rehearse? Do you have any of that planned in? Any of those mistakes?
There's been a
any
lot of
those
corpsing from these
those
two.
corpses. How do? Because you know, this is not
love
rehearsing
very
Shakespeare, is it?
No, I do find it quite hard because the show is very funny.
It's very funny.
It has been written very well, so I am usually the first one to laugh out of everyone. And out of all the characters, I probably am the one who shouldn't laugh the most. So yeah. there's quite a lot of that. But we don't. It's interesting for us because it's going to be nice when we get an audience and actually have the reactions, because obviously as many people in the room that we have to do the reactions do it, but it's going to be so different when we have 100 plus people out in the audience screaming at us, which is going to be quite fun to play with.
Also, like the things that we laughed at day one that are now just second nature, it's nice to then refine those moments and be like, oh, actually that's hilarious. Just haven't thought about it for weeks now.
And that audience will remind you again, won't they?
Exactly.
And they'll probably show you bits that you never even realised were funny. So tell me about the story of Dick Whittington then a little bit. So is this a traditional story? Is there anything new in here? Is there anything unexpected going to be happening?
There's definitely some new bits in here. I would say it definitely stems from the original story of Dick Whittington, but ours has a bit more of a Harlow twist, let's say, which is quite fun, and some very panto magic in there. There's some exciting bits that we won't spoil.
Yeah.
Any secrets more to that you can give away at this point without spoiling the story?
Absolutely not. We like our pay, thank you.
Okay.
Let's just say the end of Act 1 I think will be a jaw.
Oh my
I think the end of Act 1 is worth the ticket price alone.
Yeah.
I don't want to say what happens,
Agreed.
but
True.
you're going to have to come more than once to see what happens, because
True.
I think the first time you'll be so mesmerised by it that you'll want to come back just to watch that moment again.
Absolutely. And also, can we just talk about the dancers that we
Oh
have?
my goodness.
Because they are incredible.
Do we know where the dancers are from? Are they from a local school?
No,
Or
they're professional dancers.
Right, okay.
From they've been trained. They come from
Lanesburg,
all these
performers potentially.
The top drama schools in the UK for
Basically.
dance, and so many of them performed all across the country, West End, so they are the creme de la creme.
Shows
Yeah.
as well. It really shows.
Absolutely, and it just elevates it to a next level, 100%.
And you guys as well. Where are you guys from? Are any of you local, or are you just all professionals that they've pulled from all over the country? Where are you guys from? Tell me about what's brought you to Harlow.
I'm like semi-local, so I live closer to Cambridge.
Okay.
So I did Harlow Panto 2 years ago, and I'd never been here before. Absolutely fell in love with the theatre and everyone that works here. And it was so nice to be able to commute it from home and be at home for Christmas. So when the opportunity came up again this year, it was a no-brainer. I was begging for the job. I was like, if you've got any availability, I want to be home at Christmas.
It's not rather than finding digs. So are any of you guys like camping out here?
I'm in
Harlow?
digs in Harlow.
Digs,
doing
We're
digs.
doing the digs thing.
Yeah.
Definitely. Yeah, we managed to find some student accommodation actually as part of the university. So it's kind of nice to be able to kind of not be too far out. I didn't really want to do the commute from London because I'm living in London. It's just nice to be in the hometown that you're working in. So to be able to commute in and out of work is a blessing. It's nice. And then we're also amongst each other as well. That adds to the experience.
Oh yes, definitely. You're building a community, I guess.
Yeah.
It's a family, like we say. It's
100%.
very much a family, and it's a lot of fun.
Yeah.
And I have to say, like, in the midst of the rehearsals and everything, I've had moments of being like, I'd love to just come and watch this panto. Like, and I think that's a really beautiful thing to experience, to know that you're a part of something that you'd be happy to sit and watch.
Yeah.
That hasn't happened all the time.
Tell me about the times when it hasn't happened.
Absolutely.
I'm trying to get the goss out.
I've been in some interesting productions.
This is why Craig wanted to sit in.
That's
Absolutely. Just in case
What's
there's
the
drama. Yeah, what's the tea? So where are you guys from then?
I'm a Romford gal.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, so just up the road, but I am living here at the moment for Panto. But yeah, I think that it's quite a similar vibe, Harlow to Romford, in the sense that I feel like there's so much being put into the community and everything, and you're like a stone's throw away from London, from Central, and yet you've got these areas of green where you can just go for a nice walk, and it feels like, a breath of fresh air that I don't think you get everywhere. So I really like it. Yeah, absolutely. Nice. Yeah.
I'm from London Way as well, so I am doing the commute, but like Grace said, it was important for me to be at home this Christmas and sleep in my own bed. I've just done 2 back-to-back jobs in the Midlands, so I was like, get me back home. And I mean, the morning commute is, but the commute on the way back isn't too bad. But yeah, it's all good.
So we touched on a little bit there of the culture in Harlow. What are you guys picking up of this town then?
Well, we've visited the subway a lot. Nando's has made a couple of visits as well.
Nice.
But no, like Grace, I did this panto 5 years ago as well. So it's really handy to have the Harvey Centre on the doorstep and the Water Gardens, lovely little bit of sightseeing. But yeah, I think like Dilara said, it just feels nice, old Harlow, doesn't it?
What I love about this theatre in particular is just how many community opportunities they have. Like, we're doing all our rehearsals upstairs, and every day we'll come down and there'll be something different happening. There's like,
life in here, isn't
there?
there?
So much.
There'll be different kind of coffee mornings. There was a drag the
brunch.
other day. We were so jealous of.
You sound like you're all over that.
I was living. I nearly got caught because they warned me. They were like, if you go through there to go to your rehearsal space, she'll have you. And I just couldn't think of any other way to get to where we needed to go.
You wanted to go.
I peered through the door and she was like stood in the corner. So she was having like her intro music was playing. So I was like, let me just be brave. And I stepped out and I went round and she went, that is not me, everyone. Ladies and gentlemen, that is not me. That's all I got. I was expecting much worse, so I was quite pleasantly surprised.
Well, I've been coming here for 25 years to this building, and I'd say the community is peaking at the moment. It's like, for me, as someone that lives in Harlow, it's at its best that it's ever been. If not since I started here when I was 15. And it was great then, there was a great community then, and then it kind of trickled away a bit and disappeared, but now it feels like it's coming back. And I came in here this morning and got that vibe that I could hear you guys rehearsing upstairs, and I was like, oh, I wish I was part of that.
If you sit in the right seat, you might be.
I might be.
Oh, that's not a little Easter egg there.
So audience interaction then. So some people love it, some people hate it. So how do we go in with that? How do we feel that the audience is going to respond to it?
Well, being in the panto, and then last year I came to watch, the Harlow audiences always get involved. And I think particularly Ben and Jimmy, they are just infectious and you can't help but want to be a part of it. If you are particularly adverse to it, maybe just sit a bit further back. You can still enjoy the spectacle.
Is it a front row thing?
Ben will get you anywhere.
Ben will get
He'll be out there.
Audience.
He'll be finding you. And if you don't want to be involved, you're more likely to be involved, to be honest.
If you look up for it, you might not get picked. Who knows?
I don't think you can escape that kind of a thing.
No, it's part of Pantomime.
I think everyone knows that as well.
Yeah. But it's all with like kindness and love. So even if you're someone that doesn't want to be in the spotlight or anything like that, by coming to a panto, you're part of an event. Not you're witnessing a show, but you're also part of an event, and you get to laugh together as like a collective whole. And I think there's something really beautiful about that. So even if you're, maybe traditionally a bit shy or a bit nervous about being involved with stuff like that, I think that the way that it's done in a pantomime is so inclusive that it's almost like not even a worry you need to have.
They're not being picked on. They're being included in our show.
They big you up. They don't put you down. They big you up.
I like that.
Yeah, and what I love as well in the rehearsal, give them a little bit of just a little bit. They'll give the person a cheer. There is encouragement off the back of it, so they are bigged up.
Yes.
When you're finished having your interaction, you don't feel any weird kind of way. You actually feel quite loved and supported by them. And I'm sure that during the interval, people maybe come up to that person that was picked up and they become one of the stars of the show.
It's almost like you're creating a family, isn't it? Through a theatre experience. So let's get into that then, the theatre experience of Panto, because I've been involved with theatre all my life, and I didn't realise that not everyone understands what Panto is.
No.
And the last time I did a Panto was 2005, like so long ago. And I was Daisy the cow on the show.
Wow.
The best part. I was the front end. Daisy the cow. I think every actor should. I think we should all go through that. I think we should all experience Daisy the cow. But anyway, I loved every minute of being Daisy. And a reviewer came, local reviewer, and she was American, and she didn't understand Panto.
Yeah.
And she was like, why is the lead boy a girl, and why is there an old man wearing women's clothes, and they just all the things that are very traditional to us. That if you've grown up with it, you understand. Some people don't get it.
Well, it is now it's seen as a British thing, but it dates all the way back to ancient Greeks and Romans, and then it was adopted. Italy and France, commedia dell'arte, an art form where you have these stock characters. So Rachel mentioned before, like your role is kind of like the good fairy, and there are these stock characters in Panto that you'll see again and again. You'll see a dame, you'll see the villain, you'll see a good fairy, you'll see the protagonist, the love interest, and different variations of that. And it has become quite a European thing, but as we become a more diverse world, we are starting to be able to experience different things, and so it's become broader, and like Americans are now like, oh, okay, this is what Panto is, and so more and more people are starting to appreciate it and understand it, which just makes the experience of being in it so much more fun, because people are like, oh yeah, like great, this is Panto.
Yeah, I also think it's so important for children and young people.
Yes.
I think it's such a good introduction to theatre as an art form, because they do have the opportunity to get involved, which if they go and see Les Mis when they're a bit older, we don't want anyone shouting out, he's behind you, but I think it's such an interactive and memorable, like I remember seeing, I'm sure we all do, seeing
my first experience in theatre was
as a child. I used to remember when they'd get the tennis racket and they'd get like sweets for Christmas, and it's stuff like that obviously as a child that was, oh my gosh, like amazing. So much fun. And I think, most actors, especially in the UK, like you say, with Panto being what feels like quite traditionally a British thing, is that we can all have those memories of Panto. I actually did Panto like as a baby as well, like one of the little babes. So I think it's just, so rooted in all of us, children and adults alike, that I think it's every year it's magical. And I know most families will have it as sort of like an annual festivity.
It's a great time of year to bring people together as well,
sure.
like especially at Christmas, and you might not see some of those family all year and then see them at Christmas at the Panto. It brings you all together.
That's true. It's the only time really when I get to see my family, because I get my nieces and my nephews, they come and pick me up. They take me back for Christmas, and then they'll come back and watch the Boxing Day show. Aww. There's a lot of other productions that they don't get to see. Yeah. So I really am so grateful for Panto, opportunity to share my work, to share what I do with my family, particularly the younger children.
Yeah. Why do you think then that it's lasted so long? Because you mentioned there it started. Did you say Romans?
Greeks,
Romans.
Greeks,
Romans.
absolutely.
And it's still going now, and it just seems to be getting stronger and stronger and stronger.
Because at its core, what it does, it's a commentary on society. It's a commentary on like humanity as a whole, and there are certain things such as like love always winning, and the fact of there always being hope, and things that no matter what decade of history you look at, there's always been a need for love to win. There's always been a need for hope, and I think that that's something that just will never die. Regardless of where we are in the world, that desire for something better and something more will never go away, and it's lasted that long because we all need a bit of hope in our lives, a bit of joy.
Okay, we're going deep now. Let's go deep. So would hope, that hope and love and community, would it be the same without Panto?
Well, I don't know. I feel like the fact of what makes a British Panto so lovely is the fact that there is that universal understanding of what it means, and I don't think it will be the same without Panto. I can certainly speak for myself that a lot of my life has kind of been, uplifted by the fact that we've got a Panto to come together every single year, and what you're saying, like your nieces and stuff coming together,
and they get to experience the hope From that panto, they get to learn what being good and what being bad is, what the baddie looks like, what the goodie looks like. It's a lesson.
But how does that work with them watching you?
It's going to be interesting. Rachel said it's going to be an interesting year, folks, because I've always played the genie.
So conflicted.
Right.
So for me to be the baddie now, I don't know if my nephew's going to love me the same after.
Maybe it's just
It
an
could be an
opportunity.
awkward Christmas.
It could be an awkward Christmas. We
dinner
shall
this year.
see. There's going to be a lot of explaining, I think.
I'm acting.
Maybe a little sit down after.
Yes.
Do they know what acting is yet? How old are they?
They're, who is it? LaShawn is 6 and Sienna is 8 or 9.
So they can sort of separate. They can separate you from the character.
They can. They'll be able to. They will be able to. But they will quiz me. And I think because LaShawn, the younger one, is very inquisitive. So he's going to be like, "Why did you choose to play the baddie? Why didn't you choose to play the goodie? Because you're a good uncle. So why would you now choose?" That's the question. I know that question is coming. I know. So
you're really taking me back now to my youth. Like I discovered theatre through Panto.
Same.
Yeah, it was my aunt and uncle that would take me.
Awesome.
I didn't see them all year round.
Yeah.
Apart from when they took me to Panto.
Yeah, that's lovely.
And I remember going on the bus. It's all flooding. Sitting on the red bus, going somewhere in London, and watching the pantomime, being like, "Wow, what is this thing? This isn't the same as cinema. This is
it's different. It's
like
live.
it's something different."
And you said, you asked like, how are they old enough to understand what acting is? And I think the interesting thing is that children inherently perform all the time. They have this imagination that isn't, that is not constricted by like the realities of life and working, everything like that. Like they get to live life where they can be princesses and they can live in this fairy tale world. And this is an experience for everyone in the family to be able to come and relive that or experience it together.
And they're seeing you in real life, adult, playing fairy tale.
And it's brought to life with huge sets. I mean, the amount of stuff that is on that stage. I cannot tell you the amount of things that are behind there.
Apparently, they're playing a game of Tetris currently, trying to fit it all.
It's generally like your imagination and your wildest dreams brought to life with so much glitter, so many sparkles, and just absolutely anything you can imagine is behind that curtain.
I can definitely say off the back of that, West End set design has nothing on this. We've only seen snippets and I'm in awe of the achievement.
And this is before the lighting comes in,
yeah.
the sound.
Hello, it's crazy. I know it's going to be epic.
It takes the whole show takes you everywhere. I mean, you on the rooftops of London, of Harlow Town, to in the sky.
Careful now.
I'm not going to get too much away, but it takes you everywhere, and it's magical.
So take me back then. Make this magical for me. Let's go back to your childhoods. Do you think any of you guys would be doing this right now?
No.
Still getting to play princess and prince and
It does kind of feel like a dream come true in a sense, because it seems like when you grow up you have to do exams and things like that, and you never think that, wait, I can do what I love. They always say, like, love what you do and you'll never work a day in your life. And I feel like we are living that right now, and it's such a special thing to be able to do. But yeah, absolutely, you change your mind so much as a kid what you want to do. You want to be a firefighter and a policeman. And you get to be a policeman and
Another little
if you want, maybe
Kiessa is doing some
in a pantomime. So there
is this within the panto?
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
All the accents on my CV are being tested. I think my Essex one's pretty good.
It's
very good actually.
It's pretty good.
Thanks.
That's actually one of my favourite bits.
Ethan, one of the dancers, is Essex, and he was like, "That was spot on." I said it's one of those years of watching The Only Way Is Essex. But yeah, sorry to interrupt.
No, I liked it. No, it's just
My first, as you were asking before we talked about it, my first theatrical experience ever was going to see Panto in Birmingham at the Birmingham Hippodrome. They put on Jack and the Beanstalk, and I was so grateful that my mum took me. I just remember that beanstalk growing and just being mesmerised by how this set just transformed in such a magical way. And I just remember that magical moment even to this day. And so, as you said, it's a weird sort of full circle moment because you do go through life. And now I'm doing what I first saw in the way of theatre. And that's so special to me. That is so special to me. So remarkable. You know, we do play various different roles, and as artists, as performers, we take on different work here and there. But to take on work that is so enjoyable and so reminiscent, I think that's the beauty.
Yeah.
It's a special.
Yeah.
It sounds so cliche, but I do. My favourite thing about being an actor in any show is hoping to inspire or make someone in the audience, even just one person, feel or take a message away. And I think what's magical about Panto is that typically is going to be to the next generation of maybe even actors who will be sitting on this couch in 20 years time
talking about the
talking
experience.
to you. So
exactly.
that's always really, really special. When I'm sure when we're doing 3 shows a day it will feel quite tough, but having that knowledge of there's someone sitting in this audience who's going to remember the Harlow Playhouse Panto in 2024 like you do the Peter Pan Birmingham rep, then I'm not Birmingham,
Jack
sorry.
and the Beanstalk,
Oh my gosh, but I've got it more wrong.
It's alright, I knew what you meant.
At least you remember it.
Yeah.
But yeah, you know what I mean? Like, so having that, knowing that we're going to create those memories for other people is amazing.
So what do you think then the future looks like for some of these young actors? Do you think there's always going to be a space for Panto? Because we've talked about it being in the past.
Absolutely.
I hope so.
I think part of the reason Panto perseveres is because there's a safety to it. People continue to go because they know essentially what they're going to get. But they're going to have a brand new story. There's going to be new skits and new effects but especially with the economy and things at the moment, people don't want to shell out a ticket not knowing what they're going to get.
Because it can be quite expensive to come to the theatre, can't it? So it can be difficult for a family to fork out on bringing, say you've got a family of 4. I don't know the prices of this Panto, but some of the ones in London can be extortionate to go and see.
And that's why, being part of, I feel like Harlow Playhouse is the epitome of trying to be inclusive and trying to, get people from all walks of life to come. And for people that are contemplating, do I shell out a ticket? All you need to do is just listen to the fact that you're paying for a memory. You're not just paying for a show. So in terms of that, in terms of coming, if you're on the fence, like Grace was saying, you know what you're getting, and you're getting a fun time. You're getting joy that becomes a memory that will last a lifetime. So for all of the young actors or young people who think, I want to do this when I grow up, it's well, you can. You can. There's absolutely nothing stopping you.
My God, can you imagine if my niece and my nephew become actors and end up doing
What would that mean?
The way they behave, it wouldn't surprise me. They're such drama queens.
I love it.
They'll hold court with you when they come. They will.
What would that mean to you if you found out that some of these young people then were like, I want to do that, I'm going to do that?
The world, it's all about what Rachel said, being able to inspire. I'd like to think that the majority of artists in our industry have that zeal to inspire the next generation or to encourage people to invest and come and be a part of this great industry that we're working in. So it would mean a lot to me. It'd be very magical, and it's work because they've got to be on their P's and their Q's. I'd be schooling them. Don't be singing flat now. Come on, that performance needs to be top notch. Don't let the family name down. Because I have an uncle who's an actor as well, and he inspired me.
Wow.
So it's partly in the family. So for it to continue to be in the family would be really special.
My cousin is doing it at the minute. My little cousin is following in footsteps now, going to the same theatre school I trained at when I was little.
And he was inspired by you.
And he was, and he came and saw me on tour when I was doing Madagascar, and he's coming to see this. So it's really nice to, gorgeous. And he's always wanting to see what I'm doing, and I go home and he'll want to sing for me, and it's just it's almost like I'm seeing what I used to be like when I was little. So it is so nice.
And how does you can see that you're inspiring this younger generation, but what's that mean for you then?
it's just so special because I remember being younger and looking up to people that I saw in shows or saw on the television or teachers or other people that inspired me to do this, and it's so crazy now being the person that is doing it for people like we were when we were little. Like it is really crazy. It's surreal. It feels very full circle.
I guess in a way as performers you need that a little bit. You need that energy from others because this is a tough industry.
Yes,
if you're going to be an actor, a singer, a dancer, or an artist, it's not always easy to get work. Is it? It's not. What's the percentage? I think it's 1% of performers are in work.
So, and there are some real challenges that we've faced. I mean, dare I use the word, but we go back to COVID times.
Well, that's a big thing in history, isn't it? That was a moment that changed a lot of things for all of us.
Our industry couldn't function.
Shut down completely. Shut down completely, and I'll go as far as to say, being a bit racy here, disregarded as well. All of a sudden,
we're in a time that the industry is still a bit disregarded. New government coming in with cuts to the industry.
So I feel like the fight is on, and that's why I'm living in hope, because it amazes me. And I had this chat with Dilara the other day, how like we listen to the radio, we enjoy what comes out of the radio. We watch TV, we enjoy. I mean, I love Alison Hammond. I'm such a fan, and she's from my neck of the woods. I'm originally from Birmingham. I love to see her on there with Dermot. Dermot is incredible. He's a legend, and everything is entertainment. What do you do when you want to be entertained? You go to the theatre to watch us. So why you would then want to disregard us is beyond me. And don't tell me anything about AI or CG, whatever, because it's not like the real thing. You need human beings on there. You want to see the spit, you want to see the sweat.
We know as humans,
you want to be
other humans, don't we?
Have you seen the new Coke advert?
I've heard about it.
The Christmas Coke advert.
Holidays are coming.
They've made an AI version.
Stop.
Oh my goodness.
I almost feel like they're just doing it to grab attention.
Yeah.
Like that is what advertising
Have you seen
is,
it? Does it look good?
I've seen clips of it. The guy holds up the Coke can, he's got no fingernail.
Stop.
It's just a
It's wild to me. That's wild. There's incredible, adequate artists that could make that advertisement come to life. Why does it need to be AI? I know we have it, and I'm not dissing AI. I think it's fantastic. It's probably going to do, and if not doing, wonderful things. But the authentic aspect of life, like theatre, I don't think it needs to be touched in that way.
But also, like, there are so many jobs in the world, right? And you got like doctors saving lives, you got firefighters, you got everything like that. And we as actors aren't saying that like we're performing brain surgery, because we're not doing that.
No.
But what we are doing is these people that are, you know, working and helping us survive, uplifting our economy and everything like that, we're giving them an experience to also live as well. Because to just survive isn't enough. And so you can have this AI which is just information from the past, or you can have creatives come together with new ideas and give something that adds to our future. And I feel like that's what we do, and that's why as much as there is like some spooky thing around AI and like how we're going to move forward, the creative industry is never going to die, because we have that. We have innovation.
Also, theatre is escapism.
Yes.
I feel like everyone has such a different lives, and I remember my mum saying to me when she was dealing with grief a while ago, and she went, going to see a show, walking to a space filled with people that you don't know, the lights come down, and peace. You've got a story that's being told to you by humans. It could be something uplifting like Wicked, or you could go and see something that more like a play that's going to tell you a really deep story or something like that. But whatever it is, you're in a room with loads of people. You're all watching the same thing, and you all take different things away from it. And even that, you might leave the theatre with just a new new energy, or just even if you go out and then you have to deal with anything outside, you've had 2 hours or so of just peace and escapism. So
and there's an opportunity for a new perspective on things, isn't there, when you go and see a piece of theatre, that you might not necessarily know that you're going in to see that new perspective as you go and see the piece. But even coming to see the panto,
I mean, Queen Kiessa, they're going to learn a lot from you.
Listen. I mean, what KD, the production company, do with the Harlow Panto is, you think you know Dick Whittington. You don't know Dick Whittington. Like, you know the basics of the story of Dick Whittington, but on day one I said, well, hang on, why does Dick do XYZ at the end of Act 1? And our choreographer was like, Rachel, have you not read the script? And I was like, I've
been found out.
Yeah, I was like, busted. So
what actors read the full?
You know what I mean? That's what the read-through is.
Yeah, exactly.
But you know what I mean? So people will think, oh, I know Dick Whittington, I already know that one. But like I say, they do such a brilliant job here of taking it, renovating it,
and elevating it. I think I've seen Dick Whittington.
That should be the new
motto. But this version of Dick Whittington is so fresh. I mean, we did our first full run through yesterday, and I was sat there laughing like I was like 6 again. And the energy and the pace and the things they've done to the story to make it fresh and also feel local.
Yeah,
and,
that's true.
Twist bits of the story so you're not expecting it. And I mean, we've been talking about AI, but I'm not going to go into it, but we talk about it.
Yeah. We did talk about it.
It's relevant. It's relevant to the plot, I will say.
That the relevance of AI exists within the plots of the script.
Wow.
So that's something to look out for as well.
Yeah. So you think it's a piece of the moment then?
Yes. It definitely comments on things that are going on right now. And
that's what I respect them for.
Yeah.
Including that and making it relevant.
Yeah.
So and also including it in a fun way.
Yeah.
It's fun.
Very fun way.
It's fun.
Definitely.
For you.
with what we all get up to.
Yeah, it's fun. It's fun.
I mean, I have to apologise, guys, because I found that in rehearsals, I belly laugh a lot and like.
No, I love
What's
it.
wrong with that?
Because I'm like.
He's just so in character.
They must be like, how uncool is he just to constantly laugh? Like, you've heard this joke over and over again.
But you can get away with
funny.
it. You and your evil laugh, you can get away with it.
Yeah.
I'm the first one to crack.
I don't know what you mean.
I'm always the first one to crack. And I'm nervous. It's going to get worse.
I can't look at you.
No.
I can't look at you.
I can't look at anyone in the eye.
Particularly, you know what I'm talking
There's
about.
one scene which I've not
look
got
at
through
you.
without laughing yet.
I can't look at you.
See, this is what I love about theatre, that you can just be yourself.
Yeah.
And I feel like when you try to just apologise, everyone just looked at you like, what are you going on about?
Yeah,
Be
yeah.
you, man. Like,
Yeah.
you do your thing, and like this is a space where theatre, you just do you, don't you?
Yeah, true.
Yeah.
And that's fun with Panto as well, because like you said, they're stock characters, and us as people, we can do whatever we want with them. Like, they are our version of the character. Like, it's not going to be the same as when you saw Dick Whittington 5 years ago at a different theatre or somewhere else. It's so fresh.
I admire Daniel, who directs us. I admire him for granting us the space to do that. You know, the fact that he's able to skillfully harness our level of creativity, you know, and add little trimmings and little bits. I think that's a special skill. I don't think every director has that ability. I said it.
Spilling the tea.
You didn't reference anyone.
You know.
We just know that they're out there.
But I don't think we can talk about how funny this show is without talking about Ben and Dan.
Ben,
Right,
yeah.
please.
Absolutely
And Jimmy.
Yeah,
Please.
let's talk about. So
Bring them in the
Ben
ring.
was a writer on this.
Ben is Ben and Dan write the Panto together. Ben is the comic in the show, and I think you've met him before.
Ben.
Yeah,
Ben. I'm good,
yeah, I
good
think
friends with Ben.
he said he'd done
Ben's.
the podcast.
I've been on the podcast. I've
Yeah.
known him all my life. So yeah. good
So,
friends.
as you already know, Ben used to work backstage, or he still works backstage here at Harlow Playhouse, and has now moved onto the stage. And I believe it originated because every year they used to do a COD. So for people that don't know, that is when the crew of the pantomime will basically rewrite the panto and do a performance for the actors.
Yes. Yeah.
To take the mick out of things that have happened.
They do it towards the end of the run.
Yeah.
That's when there's some
Little
stories.
in-jokes
Yeah.
and things like that. And one year the COD was better than the original panto. And since then, Ben has been writing the panto. And he's just so incredibly funny, and he knows his craft so well. And he never stopped working. Like, in the rehearsal room, he is sat on his laptop, always listening, and he's so quick to just go, no, that's not working. Like, we need to change that. And with Dan as well, they are just such a writing team.
Yeah.
And then on the other side, you've got Ben and Jimmy, who are same Ben, but Jimmy, they're just so funny. And it's Jimmy's 10th year now, so they're like connection and the way they work together. They know each other as performers inside out.
Yeah.
And it just shows. And we pop up and give you a bit of story every now and then, but the people of Harlow are coming to see Ben and
Harlow's
Ginger.
favourite.
Yeah.
It's the truth.
It is.
And I said I'd love to just be able to sit and watch it. I'd be all over them too.
Yeah.
Because they're the ones that make me howl. Their scenes, it's embarrassing because I'm barely laughing.
Yeah.
Well, I know that
Stuff
Ben has
they
got a
got
bit
to-
of a following in this town.
Yeah.
You know, there's
That's
a
no
younger
surprise.
generation that know him.
It's
You
no
know,
surprise.
Yeah, I think there's a TikTok trend every now and then that pops up with Ben. Yeah.
I love that.
And they keep it so
love it.
fresh.
Yeah.
Even every time in
Yeah.
rehearsals when we run the scene, they switch it up
Yeah.
ever so
Every time.
different to make it fresh,
Genius.
and that's what gets
Genius.
us,
Yeah.
makes us laugh.
Yeah.
So if you come and see the panto more than once, it's going
You're
to be
gonna get a
slightly
different
different.
show.
Yeah.
It's never going to be the same show.
No.
No.
Do you think do you see it building to something? Do
Oh,
you see- Is
absolutely.
it going to go somewhere?
I mean, it's
Throughout
already
the
going to
run.
start at an amazing
Quite the
point
road.
because,
Yeah.
but I think as the in-jokes start happening and little things that start happening, it's
I'm
going
slightly
to
I'm on edge.
terrified.
be... Yeah.
There is a section of the show that I don't know what's happening ever.
That is that's one of my favourite bits.
Yeah.
actually,
Same,
to be
same.
fair.
Every show is different.
Same.
at one
I
point.
fear for you,
Ben-
Grace.
I'm
I
terrified.
actually
Grace.
fear.
Give me a little sneak of what's happening here that you're so scared of.
So basically, there's a section of the scene that the end of the scene isn't written in the script. And Ben makes something up every day, and I have to go along with it. And I don't know what it's going to be. And it's every time
What
we
could
get...
it be?
It's
What
great.
kind of thing could happen?
So
here?
far in rehearsals, I've done an impression of an albatross. I've walked around the stage like a duck. I've attempted the alphabet backwards. And I've done an impression of Yoda.
Yoda.
Very, very
Yeah,
badly.
That was my favourite one.
How did you, Yoda? What's that like?
Go on.
Literally, I can't
Go on,
do
just do
it.
your Yoda.
Go on, do it.
I think I said something like, sad not be you. And so, but even Ben's like, no, I'm saving all my good ones.
Oh, yeah.
These are just the practice ones.
You know they're going to get worse as well.
They're going to be horrendous. And I just know everyone's
I'm
going to be
buying a
waiting in
ticket
the
just
wing.
for this.
Yeah.
Like, this is selling the show.
It's the look of satisfaction on Ben's
Yeah.
face.
And
when
we're
he's done
all
it.
going to be
It's
stood there in the
amazing.
wings.
I wish
Yeah.
you could see that.
There's nothing I can prep for.
No, that's so true.
They had a similar gag last year. Because I was potentially going to do it last year, and then another job came up, so I couldn't do it. And when I came to see it, Ben said, I wrote that because I thought you were doing it. And it was basically the same premise, but it was a different accent every time. But at least that actress knew, right, okay, I should practice all my accents and see what comes up.
Yeah.
He's just gone
Like,
rogue this
no.
year.
You
It
can
could
have
be absolutely
anything.
anything.
Wow.
He's going to get me cancelled.
Now, is there a fear of that? That's kind of where I was going to with the future. Is there a fear with Panto that it has that potential of being cancelled at any point? Like, can it cross the line at all?
Well, the thing is, I think that everyone has a different interpretation of what deserves to be cancelled and things like that. But at the end of the day, everyone in the cast and company, we've been hired because we do not intend to cause offence. We lead with love. So
right.
all of the comments aren't meant to upset or offend anybody. And so I don't think it's got a risk of going too far, because we, like, through training and through experience, we have an awareness of people, and making sure, like, we try as much as a human possibly can to make sure that we pick up on signs of people and, you know, not upset them. If you look upset, we're not gonna try and hurt your feelings. So yeah, I don't know.
But I think Panto as well, just as an art form, like, you can take it to that extreme and you just call it an adult Panto.
Yeah.
And then you can,
Or come to the con.
it's a whole different ball game then.
Yeah.
And obviously our Panto is for everyone, and there are jokes that are going to go way over the kids' heads but are going to really land with the parents. And then there are comedy skits and things that the parents might have a chuckle at, but the kids will remember. Like, our choreographer said that her son still recites lines from like 2 years ago. Every night she'll say, nighty night, and he goes, pajama, pajama, because he saw it at Panto.
Yeah.
And so I just think it would just keep going, because you can go one way or the other with it.
Yeah.
Again, as well, like, going back to the creatives, we're in really good hands.
Yeah.
And there's such a level of mindfulness. I think that's really important when you're creating any kind of work, irrespective of whether it's Panto or Shakespeare. They're mindful of what could possibly cause offence. And they've even asked us, they've checked in with us and been like, do you feel okay with that? Or do you think it's too much? Do you think it's... And I think that's good, being able to have that dialogue in the rehearsal room, as well as them also, I'm pretty sure, being mindful of that from the very beginning when they were writing it. When you read the script, you can see that they're very skillful about the jokes and how they land and what to joke about and what not to joke about, because there are things that we really maybe shouldn't be joking about. And that's the glory of what we have created here. It's a really good, solid, thoughtful expression of love and joy. And then on top of that, I will say, I know that this phrase is bandied about and overused perhaps in today's society, safe space. It has and always will be, I'm sure, a safe space. And they make sure of that. So I don't think there's ever a moment, I'd like to hope that no one ever feels like, oh, doesn't feel right or whatever, because the dialogue is always open. I think that's what helps safeguard us from any of that.
That safe space thing, like you say, it's been thrown about and used quite a bit.
It has been, yeah.
It's important that we know when to use it and how to use it. And how do you feel like they're using that for you as we talked about the writers? What about your director and the team around you and the space that's being created? What does it look like for you?
Well, for one, you can't say, well, this is a safe space and then anything is allowed to happen. That's one thing. So I think it's how you address issues and things. Like, so for instance, I use a very sort of like a native dialect. You know, I have a Caribbean accent. And so there's been a lot of communication in regards to the right words to use and how we use them and how it can transcend for the audience to understand even what I'm saying. You know, fortunately, as what Dilara said, as an actor, you learn to be skillful enough to know. If I was to just talk real Jamaican patois and talk it as fast as them talk it, nobody would ever understand a word I said. Did you?
Nah.
Maybe you did. But I just said if I was to speak the Jamaican patois in its rawest form, I don't think people would ever understand what I say. But if I slow it down and if I make it more of a generic Caribbean accent, people get that because we are ebbing and flowing amongst people of different accents and dialects. So, you know, that's something that I think helps create the safe space, the communication, just the mindfulness. They check in. They check in. How are you doing? How is everyone? I've never heard people ask me how I'm doing so much in my life. Seriously. And I think that's really lovely because you then have an opportunity.
Tell us to go home and relax.
As well.
After like a few days.
Not go home, learn your lines. Practice the steps.
He was very much like, use this time when you're at work to go over things, do the things you need to do, but when you're at home, please relax. Like, it's going to be a long season. Please look after yourselves. So we're all sat there like, oh,
you care?
This is nice.
Some don't necessarily express that care. I'm not saying they don't care, they don't express it. He expressed it. He was like, I want you guys to be good and to take the time to rest and relax.
But it does something to your performance though when you're around people that care, doesn't it? It transforms what you guys can do together. It's kind of like that thing of like when you're at school all day and then they want you to do like 10 pieces of homework and you're like, don't stop, keep going, keep pushing and pushing, and then you just get like worn out and tired. And as performers, you can't be tired.
No.
Like, what's that? How's that gonna relate for the audience if you guys haven't got any energy?
I think there's just such a mutual respect between everyone in the building, whether that be the director and actors relationship, whether that be us and the bar staff just asking for a little coffee to keep us from being so tired. You know, I think just going back to that community thing, especially at the Playhouse, everyone has total respect for everyone's work. So that inherently does create that safe space that we were talking about. And it's just such a wonderful working environment, which is why, you know, Grace and myself have come back to do it again because it is just so joyful and so wonderful.
It's the first thing I noticed when I walked into this building for the first time on press day. It's the instant feeling I felt that it was such like a home. It feels like a home, especially like when we're here for a while over Christmas, when we're away from our families and not at home. It's so nice to feel at home somewhere and say hello to the people that clean the building and get to know the bar staff and spend time with them, like after work if we're having a drink all together. It's just so nice, like knowing everyone in the building.
And I wonder if that comes from the top a little bit. I don't know how much Rory is involved these days.
So well involved.
Artistic director of the Playhouse. I know
He's
that
one
he's
of them. Always asking, you alright? How's you going? Are you okay?
Are your digs okay?
The digs, yeah.
I mean, we were having problems with our mattresses at our digs.
He's getting toppers for us, isn't he?
And they're going to get us mattress toppers. They said, don't you worry, we will get your mattress topper.
We can't have Dick Whittington having a bad back.
You wouldn't get that anywhere else. And sorry.
Before we even have to ask, they're already there with open arms. And that's the thing, going back to the safe space, there's no fear to ask for anything, ask for help, or want to talk about something. It is such an open and welcoming space that they're just available there to talk to you. It's so lovely.
Wonderful. So the future then for you guys, are you coming back next year? Or have we got to see? Have we got? Are you like? You sound to me like you're all in. You're like,
I'd come back. I love it. It's lovely here.
Absolutely.
I mean, it depends on what they do. I pray that they can squeeze.
I thought you were going to say, depending on how much they pay me.
This
is more. This sounds like
partly about that.
Yeah, but this sounds like it's more than money, isn't it?
It's so much more. You've just said it. It's so much more than that.
What is the quality of life this is giving to you?
Yeah, for sure.
Absolutely.
It's true.
So we're all coming back.
Oh,
please.
Hopefully, yes.
Please come us back.
Wonderful. So as we kind of wrap this up then, this has been a wonderful conversation. Thank you so much for sharing. Just final words then. Why should I bring my family to come and see this pantomime? We've kind of covered a lot of that. Just listen to the whole podcast. But just as a nice little close, why should I bring my family to see this pantomime?
There is something for everyone. Whether that be a 5-year-old, a 20-year-old, a 50-year-old, everyone's going to have a giggle, everyone's going to have a good time. And like we said, it's Dick Whittington with a Harlow panto twist. And everyone is really quite good. Everyone is very talented.
Yeah, you're getting the creme de la creme of performers. The ensemble are sensational. I've never seen dancing like it.
The choreography is
the singing is
That
next level. You're getting West End standard. Like, if you don't get to see a West End show very often, come down to the Harlow Playhouse, because you're getting, if not the same standard, if not better.
Do we know the dates? 28th it starts.
Yeah, to the 5th
29th of November to the 5th of January.
Oh, 29th.
Yeah.
Well, we've got our charity
charity event.
There's the 28th is the charity event, but open to the public from the 29th to the 5th of January.
And there is, I forget the date, but there is a relaxed performance, which I am a big advocate for, and I think is very, very important. And just another reason that Panto is so inclusive. I think it might be the 4th of January.
I'm sure all the details will be on the website.
Yes,
we'll make sure to link in the comments below. But what is a relaxed performance for anyone that doesn't know? So
a relaxed performance is the same show, but everything is kind of taken down a little bit. So it's for people who maybe have special needs or additional needs, or aren't quite comfortable in a theatre space. The house lights will be up throughout the performance, so people can feel free to wander in and out. There'll be a quiet space that they can go to if they get a bit overwhelmed. And then, any pyros are taken out of the show, the music level's brought down a bit, and it's just somewhere that everyone can enjoy without being overwhelmed or overstimulated. And I always get emotional when I talk about it, because I love them so much. They're my favourite part of
Also, I'm not sure if they do it here, but sometimes at relaxed performances they also have a sheet that tells you what to expect and what sort of, if there's anything that might shock you, just to know that that's coming. And also, sometimes at relaxed performance, the characters come out at the beginning, so that you know visually what you're about to expect. So it's
again, it just sounds like this place is just being open to the community and being as inclusive as possible.
For sure.
I said, was it last week, just sort of thinking about what we're creating. It's a love letter to Harlow.
It is.
This panto is a love letter to Harlow. It's also a love letter to society in the times that we're in at the moment. It's a bit hairy. It's a bit... And so to be able to, as we talked about, escape for a while and just experience some joy, some laughter, some love, there's no reason why you wouldn't want to get a ticket.
Wonderful. Well, thank you so much, guys.
Thank you for having us.
Thank you. And if anyone was watching or listening, thank you for joining us for this conversation.
Yes, absolutely. Thank you.
Thanks again. Cheers. Bye-bye.
Do we clap to end?
We could do.
Oh,
Here we go. 3, 2, 1. There we go.
amazing!
Just under an hour.
That was
Fabulous.
Smashed it.